The Six of Spades is the card of fate. It's the Uranus card on the Neptune line. So there is significant Neptunian influence here that may lead this six down the wrong path. Sixes are about balance. Balance is Libra. Libra means harmony. Harmony means cause and effect. The right causes for the right effects. And this is particularly true for the Six of Spades that encounters many fateful events in its life. And they could be on the low side, but they could also be on the high side. Here we've got a very powerful card because from Venus onwards, this card encounters its planets on the crown line. So Venus, Mars, and Jupiter are on the crown line. And that gives them a lot of power, but also a lot of responsibility. And here we can connect the dots quite beautifully, because if those Six of Spades are setting the wrong causes, they are certainly reaping the wrong rewards. And their life will be one of escapism, will be one of missed opportunities, and will be one where the power that they've been given is not being accessed. Sixes can get into a rut. Because of that harmonious energy of the six, it seems, especially for the Six of Spades, it seems to be that things take time. So things don't change quickly. Unlike the fours, unlike the threes, unlike the fives, unlike the threes, unlike the ones. But here, for the Six of Spades, it means that once they've set something in motion, they have to live with that for considerable time. So they better think properly how they want their life to look like, how they want their thoughts to look like in order to create a harmonious life and also create a really successful life with that 10 of clubs in Venus, with that 8 of diamonds in Mars, and with that King of Spades in Jupiter. Robert Kemp says something about that Six of Spades. And he said, for the most powerful of the sixes, the Six of Spades, life just seems to have more of these fated events than most. So much so that many Six of Spades begin to view life as a place where they have few choices and little power to change its outcome. It is true that we cannot change events once they are set into motion, but there are still many events in life over which we have tremendous responsibility. And our choices in this life are always important in this regard. This is one of the major lessons for the Six of Spades. Set the right causes. Think first, take all the time that you need, because once you've set those causes in motion, you're certainly reaping the rewards, both on the high side and on the low side. And obviously, this power comes with responsibility. So you have to be able to respond. That's the word responsibility. Be able to respond. And how you're able to respond? By going to the silence, by taking your time, by thinking things through, and therefore almost ensuring that the causes that you set are the right ones. Six of Spades is someone who is walking the path of karmic alignment, someone who can't afford shortcuts because life is the test. This is a soul blueprint that demands patience, responsibility, and most of all, integrity. In Mercury, we find the last card on the Neptune line. It's the Queen of Hearts, and it brings a deeply nurturing voice to communication. This is someone whose words can soothe or stir, depending on the emotional undercurrent. There's an instinct to protect the vulnerable, to mother those in pain, even when that wasn't asked for. And at its best, this placement brings compassionate counsel and emotional literacy. But it also carries a warning. Don't let emotional entanglements cloud clarity. And the Queen of Hearts and Mercury knows that wisdom must be filtered through warmth, not control. So in the position of their mind, they have a court card. which means a different way of approaching things. The Queen of Hearts is in service with love. That's the caring, that's the mothering, that's the nurturing energy. So they bring this element to Mercury, which is about communication, which is about intellect. And once again, we've been reminded that there are no shortcuts. This is certainly a high task for that Six of Spades, to ensure that the communication is always on the loving and the caring side, and that doesn't become overbearing, because that is the risk of the Queen of Hearts. To bring herself in when it's not really asked for, when it's not really needed. And don't become emotionally entangled. Be clear about all of that. An instinct to protect the vulnerable, to mother those in pain, even when that wasn't asked for. So distance is also important here for the Six of Spades. It's a fateful card, but sometimes you need to step back, look at what's happening, and then decide whether you engage or whether you rather say, here, throat chakra, moderation, no. Let them sort out their own things. I'm not here to play the, I don't know what the expression is in English, but that in German we call that Zünglein an der Waage. The Zünglein is that little thing on the scales, that little indicator that says, does it tip this way, does it tip that way? So, you can engage, but sometimes it's smarter not to, and let other people decide on their own fate. You don't have to engage. That throws us off the Neptune line and the Neptune position, and we continue at the top right on the crown line. We find under Venus the 10 of clubs. It brings intellectual intensity to love and values, but it also brings manifestation power, because 10s are teachers cards. So here's a card that can teach others, and stepping one back to that Queen of Hearts in Mercury, that wants to nurture, that wants to help others, that wants to support others, that is in service with love. And here in Venus, which is about relationships, also relationships to other people, there's the teacher's card, the 10 of clubs. This is someone who finds beauty in knowledge, who may be more turned on by conversation than appearance. They're drawn to partners with strong minds and often attract admiration from their own depth and insight. They often attract admiration for their own depth and insight. Because sixes, probably because of those fateful elements, can go inside, very spiritual, very intuitive cards. Robert had something to say about this, and that was not about the Six of Spades, but it was more about the sixes themselves. And that is here. Sixes are known to be some of the most psychic cards in the deck. Perhaps this is because they achieve enough peace in their life that they're in a better position to hear the voice within. Many six people become professional psychics, and all will admit to receiving impressions from time to time. Many people who are sixes have come to fulfill a special and unique purpose during the course of their life that will involve becoming a signpost to others of a better life, of a better way of life. Because of that strong karmic influence that the six holds. Very psychic energy. There we have it. And then it says, under Venus, at times though, they may need to relax their perfection streak, especially in relationships, where not everyone processes life at the same cognitive speed. Still, it's a brilliant placement for teaching, writing, and leading with ideas in matters of the heart. 6, Queen of Hearts and Mercury, 10 of Clubs in Venus. Lovely combination for teaching, hearts-centered teaching. We move on to the next power card, and there we find under Mars, also in the crown line, right at the top of the Jupiter column, we find the 8 of Diamonds. And that gives them the power of values. And that in Mars is obviously quite a force to reckon with. They can be fixed, they can be convinced, overpowering, with that 8th energy. It's a diamond's energy, so it's about values. It's also about material manifestations, material power. And under Mars, it gives them this intense drive towards material mastery and personal power. There's a will that doesn't bend easily. This person works hard, expects results, and isn't shy about commanding attention or resources when needed. They can be magnetic, persuasive, even intimidating when passionate about a cause or goal. But the challenge here is softening the grip, learning when force must give way to flow. And with maturity, this becomes the mark of someone who shapes value systems, not just chases them. We've started with that Queen of Hearts. We've progressed with the 10 of Clubs. Now 8 of Diamonds and Mars. Responsibility, power. And you can see with that combination alone that the 6 of Spades wields tremendous amount of power. But that power has to come with responsibility. Otherwise, and obviously sort of the willingness to accept this role, because otherwise that is just mere potential and is not manifesting in the life of the 6 of Spades. So again, it's all about consciousness. It's about understanding what has been written into your DNA. But just because it's been written into the DNA doesn't mean that you're experiencing that in the world without. It's quite possible that it's still lying there dormant, waiting to be tapped into, waiting to be brought into consciousness, so that you understand that fateful quality of your card, and that you take the necessary steps to train yourself, to empower yourself in order to enjoy the benefits that this empowerment brings. It gets worse or even better here with the Jupiter expansion, growth. Here we have the highest card of the entire deck, the King of Spades. Jupiter blesses the soul with the King of Spades, the highest card in the deck, bringing divine responsibility and exceptional potential. This is someone with a capacity to lead, to teach and influence others through example. They're here to master themselves, not just their world, and success is often delayed until maturity ripens the inner kingdom. Remember, Jupiter period starts at age 39. They are here to master themselves, not just their world, and success is often delayed, first 3 periods of 13 years each, until maturity, 39, 40s, ripens the inner kingdom. If they resist the call, life becomes heavy. Because remember, 6s, things don't change that often, that frequently. So there is like an undercurrent that is like almost viscous, and it's like pulling them along. So the causes that they have set in motion, they are going to reap for a considerable period of time. And they need to know that, they need to understand that, because otherwise life becomes very heavy for them. So it's an extra call for the 6 of Spades to use the mind properly and set the right causes and make the right decisions. But if they embrace it, they become wise, steady, and unshakable in service to something far greater than ego. Why far greater than ego? Because as we are thrown into this life, we become aware of the I, the ego side, me, myself, and I. What can I get from life? But sometimes it's about others. And that is certainly true here for the 6 of Spades. With all those fated events, with all those qualities that ask the 6 of Spades to take on responsibility, to master life, to set the right causes straight away, and not to fall into a rut, and certainly not fall into that escapism rut that is still prominent on the Neptune line. King of Spades in Jupiter. Under Saturn, the teacher, we find the 3 of Hearts. We had a Queen of Hearts in Mercury. Now we get a 3 of Hearts, which is about emotional honesty, freedom of the heart, but also the worry of not getting enough love. So a 6 of Spades in terms of relationships you may find them either not making a commitment or having multiple partners because of that underlying fear or worry of not receiving the love that they think they deserve. And they do deserve it, but they need to be conscious of it. This person may struggle early on with indecision in love or fear of commitment, not because they're shallow, but because they feel so deeply and dread making the wrong choice. Saturn here tests the emotional maturity through romantic tension or triangular dynamics. But when integrated, this placement brings beautiful emotional versatility, charm, and the ability to deeply understand others' relational journeys. And remember, we had the strong teaching element here with that 10 of clubs in Venus, and the Queen of Hearts in Mercury too. And the power through that 8 of diamonds in Mars and that King of Spades in Jupiter. So they can really make this happen. And again, that beautiful emotional versatility and the ability to deeply understand others' relational journeys. And then you help them along the way. You help them understand themselves. And because the ego goes out and the ego first encounters the other, and there's the relational element, the relationship element. And as it encounters the other, there is that risk of feeling misunderstood. There's the potential of being disappointed, of being discarded, of relationships ending, of that relating, that relationship not actually working. So these people will seek help. They will seek others so that they understand themselves, understand the situation, understand why maybe their relationships never really amount to anything, and they find a wise, responsible counsel in the Six of Spades. And if we turn this around, we have a Six of Spades that is very much geared towards teaching people in matters of the heart. Because there's the wisdom of the Queen of Hearts in Mercury, and there is that on the high side, the versatility and the clarity and the charm with that Three of Hearts in Saturn. Under Uranus, we find a card of intellectual curiosity and the desire for knowledge, and that is the Ace of Clubs. So with the Ace of Clubs in Uranus, this person is wired for breakthrough ideas and independent thinking. Their insights arrive like lightning, often ahead of their time, and they're drawn to unusual philosophies or spiritual frameworks. At times they may feel out of step with convention, but that's the point. Their genius lies in originality, and the more they trust their own mental spark, the more they inspire others, Uranus, to do the same. This is the mind of an innovator or even a quiet revolutionary. Beautiful energy. So they are sparking others. Uranus is about friendships. Uranus is no longer about individuals. That ended with Saturn. Now it's about people with whom we have loose connections. And here that intellectual spark comes in. Breakthrough ideas, independent thinking. The more they trust their own mental spark, the more they inspire others to do the same. And the intellectual spark often leads, interestingly, to resolving issues of the heart. Because you understand. And when you understand, you can gain a distance. And when you gain a distance, you're no longer deeply involved, emotionally involved, and at the mercy of your emotions. And here, that Ace of Clubs in Uranus for the Six of Spades is particularly helpful. They're drawn to unusual philosophies or spiritual frameworks. And after the 10 of Clubs, here we have another more self-centered card of the club suit with that Ace of Clubs. And when we come to Neptune, we find another clubs card. So you see how the hearts element is quite prominent, but also how the communication element is very prominent. So they know what they want, and that is actually emphasized as we come to Neptune, because here we find the Queen of Clubs, and that paints a picture of inner wisdom and intuitive brilliance. Second Queen, there's a dream of being a wise guide or teacher, and in many ways this person becomes one, whether formally or simply by presence. Their vision can be rich and magnetic, but the danger lies in self-doubt or in giving too much of their power away to mentors or fantasies. Neptune here calls for discernment. Don't romanticize knowledge, embody it. Embodying knowledge. 10 of clubs, ace of clubs, queen of clubs. You see the importance that the mind has in matters of the heart. So, and if the six of spades becomes aware of it and is able to balance those two energies, then they will really thrive in life, as shown with that 8 of diamonds in Mars and the king of spades in Jupiter. Because that king of spades embodies everything. It's got the leadership, it's gone through all the 4 suits, and now it's at the top of the mountain, of the pyramid, of the deck, certainly of the deck, and can lead with mastery. And that mastery we often see in six of spades, who have become aware, who have been able to tune into their spiritual side, and who are conveying that knowledge and that understanding and that insight, and helping other people live a more harmonious and successful life. Beautiful. That brings us to Pluto. And in Pluto, we find the 10 of spades. 10 of spades, the workaholic card. So the challenge here is for the 6 of spades not to work too hard. King of spades and a Jupiter expansion, yes, but also watch your health. And here on a Pluto, it's a card of transformation, of ego and death. That's the lifelong transformational subject for the 6 of spades. It's a card of its own suit, but a couple of notches up. A transformation, a card of transformation through deep labor, effort, and endurance. This is no light placement. The soul here is required to evolve through work, inner or outer, and often faces powerful shifts in career, purpose, or health. If resisted, the weight can feel crushing, but when embraced, this is the path of the sacred worker, someone whose very effort becomes a spiritual discipline. They're here to build what lasts, even if it means burning through what doesn't. And I have a lovely acquaintance who is a 6 of spades, or who has a 6 of spades as a birth card, and that's Gabi Kovalenko. And you may have encountered her on Instagram. And I'm not sure if she listens to this or if she ever encounters this, but if you have a picture of Gabi and listen to what I just said about the 6 of spades, that is like accurate to the T. Because with her insight, with her psychic insight, with her ability to express herself extremely clearly, and how she I don't want to say combines words, but how she crafts words, crafts her mental expression, her verbal expression, and is able to contain a tremendous amount of meaning in very few words, often to the point where I think that people actually can't follow her. So they certainly can't follow her mentally, but they can follow her emotionally, because the words ring true, and there's that instance, that authority behind the mind that know that what she is saying is true, and that helps them understand and accept what she is saying. First accept, and then sort of with time comes the understanding. So Gabi Kovalenko is a perfect example of a 6 of spades. And listen to this video again if you would like to, and then sort of, now knowing that I referred to her, picture who she is, how she's presenting herself, what she's presenting, and the tremendous value that she is providing to people seeking clarity, seeking help, and many times in emotional matters. And you see the psychic quality that she has the moment she opens her mouth. I mean, that is quite astonishing. And it's really extraordinary. There's a 6 of spades. And you look at the user and or follower numbers that she's got on Instagram, and you see how successful she was. And Gabby and I go back a good couple of years, and that's when she just started out, and then her career, in inverted commas, has really taken off. Amazing, tremendous. So the Six of Spades doesn't get an easy ride, but they do get a meaningful one. And with these planets, life becomes a journey of increasing integrity, resilience, and spiritual authority. If they walk their path with courage and care because of those Spades cards, health related, they become the kind of person others trust with the big stuff because they've earned it. Through the grind, the grace is revealed. The birthdays for the Six of Spades are shown here on the right-hand side. So have a look whether that applies to you or a person that you know, and then maybe many things will ring true. And once again, they need to become conscious. They need to be able to access the higher side, because if they don't access the higher side, they get stuck in a rut, and then those fated events that they encounter in life are of the negative kind. Helmar Rudolph once again says thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed it, and will continue with a beautiful card, also very dear to my heart because she was a partner for many years, a Seven of Spades birth card. And that is also my Jupiter card. So you'll hear about that in another video. Until then, Helmar Rudolph once again says thank you, remains with peace and blessings, and bye-bye.